It's strange how your life can change in a single moment. One minute you're sitting comfortably, surrounded by familiar faces, thinking you know your world. And the next? You're in the middle of a nightmare, questioning everything. That's how it started for me. An innocent dinner with my dad and his police friends. I never thought that evening would lead to the most harrowing experience of my life. Dad's colleagues had always been like extended family. They were regulars at our house, sharing laughs, stories, and camaraderie. But that night, their joviality felt different. There was an edge to it, a kind of underlying tension I couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the way they looked at me. Too long, too calculating. Or maybe it was the way Dad's laughter didn't quite reach his eyes. After dinner, one of them suggested a drive. "Let's take Lisa to see the old forest," Officer Grant said, his tone light but his eyes sharp. "It's beautiful at night." I hesitated, glancing at my dad. He nodded too quickly, his smile strained. "Go ahead, sweetheart. It'll be fun." The ride was quiet at first. The hum of the car, the occasional murmur of conversation. But as we drove deeper into the forest, the atmosphere shifted. The jokes stopped. The air grew heavy. I could feel their eyes on me in the rearview mirror, and my pulse quickened. Something wasn't right. We stopped in a clearing. The moonlight barely pierced the canopy above, casting eerie shadows. "Get out," Officer Grant said, his voice void of its earlier friendliness. My heart pounded as I stepped out of the car. "What's going on?" I asked, my voice trembling. The men exchanged glances, silent communication passing between them. "We just want to talk," another officer said, his tone too casual. "No need to be scared." But I was scared. My instincts screamed at me to run. But where would I go? We were miles from anywhere, surrounded by darkness. And then, one of them stepped closer, his face illuminated by the dim light. "Your dad told us you're a smart girl," he said, his voice low. "We like that. We like girls who know how to cooperate." My stomach turned. "What do you mean?" I whispered, though I already knew. The air around me felt suffocating, and I fought to steady my breathing. Grant chuckled, a sound that sent chills down my spine. "Let's just say we're going to test that smartness of yours." Time seemed to stop. My mind raced, trying to process their words, their intentions. I looked for an escape, any opening, but they surrounded me. My dad had always taught me to be brave, to stand my ground. But how do you do that when the people meant to protect you are the ones you fear most? "I think there's been a misunderstanding," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "My dad, he wouldn't want this." Grant's smile widened. "Your dad?" "Oh, Lisa. He's the one who suggested we educate you a little. Said you needed to learn some respect." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My dad? The man who'd always been my protector? My hero? No, it couldn't be true. It had to be a lie, a twisted manipulation. But the certainty in Grant's eyes left no room for doubt. I took a step back, my hands trembling. "Please, just let me go. I won't say anything, I promise." "Oh, we know you won't," one of them said, his voice dripping with menace, "because you'll have no reason to." Desperation surged through me. I had to think, had to act. My mind clung to every self-defense lesson I'd ever had, every survival instinct buried deep within me. And then, in the chaos of my thoughts, an idea formed. "You're right," I said, forcing calm into my voice. "I've been disrespectful. Maybe I do need to learn a lesson." They hesitated, exchanging surprised glances. "That's more like it," Grant said, stepping closer. "But if I'm going to learn," I continued, "I need to know the rules. What's the punishment?" The shift in their demeanor was immediate. They relaxed, their guard lowering. And in that moment, I knew I had a chance. Just one. As Grant reached for me, I grabbed the nearest object, a heavy flashlight, and swung with all my strength. The impact startled him, and he stumbled back, cursing. Adrenaline coursing through me, I ran. Branches tore at my skin as I sprinted through the forest, the sound of their shouts echoing behind me. I didn't look back. My only thought was to escape, to survive. The darkness was both my ally and my enemy, hiding me but threatening to trip me at every step. I don't know how long I ran. Minutes? Hours? Time lost all meaning. Eventually, I saw a faint light in the distance. A cabin. My legs burned, my lungs screamed, but I pushed on, banging on the door with all my remaining strength. An elderly man answered, his face lined with concern. "Help me," I gasped. "Please." He didn't hesitate, pulling me inside and locking the door. "What happened?" he asked, his voice steady despite the panic in my eyes. I couldn't form the words. All I could do was sob, relief and fear crashing over me in waves. He didn't press, simply handed me a blanket and called the authorities. Not my dad's colleagues, real police officers. The investigation that followed was long and grueling. My dad denied everything, painting me as a liar, a troublemaker. But the evidence told a different story. The officers involved were arrested, their crimes exposed. My dad, well, he's no longer a part of my life. The scars from that night run deep, but they've also made me stronger. I've learned to trust my instincts, to fight for myself when no one else will. And while I may never fully heal, I've found a sense of peace in knowing I survived. That I'm still here, still standing.